Let me adjust your levels.
How dare you adjust my audio level?
No, I'm clearly douchebag. Huh.
There's not that many free agents left.
Yeah, that's true. They went quickly.
I heard LeBron's going to go to Philadelphia.
Rated R. The Trainwreck.
What kind of charitable work do you do? I slept with a lot of fat guys in college.
You have to give to receive.
You go down on me too much.
What?
It's selfish.
But I shouldn't go down on you as much?
Don't spin this as a way to not go down on me as much. That's ridiculous.
Trainwreck. Rated.
I'm almost ready. I'm just finishing up research on my number one pick.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot about that. Good thing I did this.
What did you forget about?
Something about my first pick that I should be mentioning.
Who was your first pick?
Not telling you. No.
Okay. I'm about done clicking. Can you hear clicking?
Oh yes,
So you can hear that?
it's a problem. We did better this time than we did on our practice pod, but it's still, we really got to be conscious of it. It's bad. It's like it's crazy loud. I don't know why it does that, but it's really loud and it's so clearly audible, and it's kind of annoying.
Could you hear that?
Yep.
God damn. I'm trying to like, there's no quiet way to do it. I don't really need to click that much, I just need to scroll. Come on, Eli. I got a lot of stuff to do today.
No, you don't.
Actually, I have a family thing at 5.
It's 1 o'clock where you are.
It's 1:17.
All right.
It took almost like 2 hours. No, that was like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah. All right. Are we doing tribes of 10 each or 8 each?
We usually do 10, so.
Yeah.
Keep it the same. I don't know about my boy-to-girl distribution.
I think mine would be about 50-50.
This isn't one that needs to be like that. Because, like, if it's, mine's probably going to be more men, which is like, I don't know, whatever. I know who Rob Cesternino's first pick would be.
Yeah, what's up? 5 minutes. Alright, I'm going tomorrow. But you just told me I didn't know it. You just told me last night that you I didn't know I was going to do it. So, what do you think? Alright, well, you know, whatever you got it, just leave it out so I can do it tomorrow. Alright.
What was that about?
No, nothing. Alright. Obviously, all your Windows Plus and stuff. You don't have like Facebook open in the background, do you?
I have Google and my doc. I don't know who my first pick's going to be. I need to figure that out, I guess.
Alright, well, when you figure it out, and then I'll start.
Okay, I got it. Pretty obvious.
Welcome to the Survivor Buddy System, the Philip Shepard to the Boston Rob. Ugh, I can't even speak. It's not a good start. Welcome to the Survivor Buddy System, the Philip Shepard to the Boston Rob of the Survivor podcast community. Last week we drafted tribes of our favorite characters in Survivor history, but this week we will be drafting the flip side, the players that frustrated us the most. You can find us and criticize our picks on Twitter at Survivor Buddies, and reach us with draft ideas at survivorbs@gmail.com. Now it's time to welcome my colleague, John Gross-Tadier. How are you doing today?
Pretty good for this draft.
Last time you had the first pick, and you took a ridiculous Courtney Yates, although she's pretty great, but first overall pick, it's a little insane. But this time I'm gonna start us off, and I'm gonna pick someone that I think you're gonna be mad that I'm taking them, but it has to be done. Number 1 overall pick, most frustrating players, Lisa Whelchel, Survivor Philippines.
That is a really good pick. That's a really good pick.
John, did you know she was on the Facts of Life?
I did not.
Did you know she was on the Facts of Life, John?
I did, but
I just wanted to reiterate that she was on the Facts of Life. I don't know if she mentioned that.
yeah, I feel really bad that she was. Like, I just feel really bad that she was famous and.
Yeah, I mean, that must
really
be
bad.
really hard. I feel bad.
I feel really bad.
You know,
I feel really bad. She got put cast on Survivor. It's just kind of a. I feel really bad because. Okay, that was terrible.
Let's see. Did you know that she had a really hard time compromising her morals on the show? I mean, it was just really difficult for her. I don't know how she did it.
I feel really bad.
Well, this is terrible. It's like we have to restart everything. That was so bad.
Yeah, let's just redo Lisa.
All right, we'll redo Lisa. John, did you know that Lisa Whelchel was on the Facts of Life?
I had no idea, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing research for this podcast, and I stumbled upon that on the internet because I don't think she mentioned it during the show.
She must have a really tough life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really bad for her.
What bothers you most about Lisa, Eli?
It's not just that she kept talking about. I mean, it was the same thing over and over. It was like Facts of Life, Facts of Life, Facts of Life. It's hard being a child star. It's hard being a child star. Oh, it's so hard to compromise my morals on this show. Oh my God, it's just so difficult. Like, how am I gonna reconcile this when I'm done the game? Oh my God.
Yeah, not only was that all she said, she was featured more than anyone else on this season, which is ridiculous when you think about who it had. It had Abby, you had Malcolm, you had the winner, Denise, who was barely even on the show. Like, the entire season, she's like almost invisible. And we had to listen to Lisa complain about how terrible her life is and how she just complained. Like, millions of people would gladly take her spot and play this game. Like, I don't know why she thought Survivor would be a good idea for her. Like, I just don't understand her at all.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you said, Denise gets like no airtime. Lisa gets like not like a winner's edit, even though it's like an annoying edit, and they think that people like her. Although sadly, you know what? People did like her. She won fan favorite.
That's bull.
She won $100,000 for being annoying as hell. I don't like, you know, TV shows are supposed to get like the younger demographic. Did they cast her to like? I mean, obviously they only care about like ages 50 and up because somehow she won fan favorite. Because I can't imagine anyone below the age of 40 who didn't watch that show voted for her.
Yeah, not only did she said the same thing over and over and over. Like I just watched the season a couple weeks ago. Like, Malcolm really isn't on the season. Like, I love Malcolm, but like he's like Lisa gets like the Tony Vlachos like that much screen time, or like Boston Rob on his season. Like, she's like shown like a star almost. It's really annoying.
And like another annoying aspect of Lisa was like her and Scoopin together. Like they didn't even vote together half the time. They were so annoying. Like they couldn't get on the same page. It was like the same struggle week after week with those two, and it just drove me nuts. And I hate how they both made it so far. Ugh.
Yep. I think we need to move on to the next person so we don't spend all of this podcast about Lisa as well.
Well, I agree. The less we talk about Lisa, the better off I'll be in life. But one last thing. Remember that during the family visit where she basically had sex with her brother?
Yeah, that was weird. Her brother was like, yeah, you actually need to play this game. And she's like, no, my life sucks. I'm terrible. This is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it's like day 30. She's like, oh, wait, maybe I should be playing this game.
Yeah, like she always has these confessionals like, you know what? I think I'm gonna start playing this game, or like not exactly that, but something similar. Then she
Oh, the worst.
either does and complains about it, or she doesn't and complains about it.
I mean, maybe my draft pick will be controversial considering she won fan favorite. But I mean, if you have a problem with this pick, then tell me about it. But go shove it.
Yeah, I don't think the casual fans are gonna listen too much to our podcast, but
I don't think anyone's listening, John. But why don't you take us away with your first pick?
mine is more recent. I don't really know how to describe him. I would say he just sucks. I'm taking Dan Foley.
Oh, good pick. I also had him on my board, so now I'm gonna have to do some scrambling to find another person to draft.
He's possibly the most unself-aware player of all time. Like,
Well, I don't know. He's pretty aware. He knows his math. He can count.
he like talks it down to the camera. Like when he talks to us in confessional, he's like, you know what? We've got 3 votes over here, and we've got 3 votes over here. So I don't know what's gonna. I hate players that do that. Just like act like we're dumb instead of like actually telling us something. It's just like, oh, I have a quote. It's probably my favorite quote of the season. It's in the first episode when they're building the shelter. That's stupid. That's the dumbest thing you can do. Bamboo is hollow. It won't stay. I am a fat guy. I am not going to hold. And then Sierra and Lindsay just start cracking up.
Oh, that was a pretty good impression.
React.
Wait, hold on. Is that Boston Rod on the line?
No, I cannot. I'm not on his level. But the way he's... Bamboo is hollow. Just the way he talks sometimes is ridiculous.
I don't know. I think he got a bad edit, John. I think he was done unfairly by Survivor.
Yeah, I've got, at least in the post-game interviews, he knew he said some dumb shit and apologized for everything. So I really respect him for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is all on Jeff Probst. I think Dan was a wonderful, wonderful person. He tried out like a million times to get on this game. So you have to love him.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. In Ponderosa, he said he proved he could play this game like a hero, which is pretty much sums up Dan's just unawareness to everything.
Yes, his self-awareness is not his best asset. Actually, does he have any qualities in a Survivor player? Like anything? His social game was terrible. He wasn't. I guess he wasn't a complete mess in the challenges, but obviously he wasn't an asset.
Dan is wrong.
Wrong again.
Yeah, it's just like he was not getting the challenges. Another thing was how he talked to Sierra after they came back, and
He really knows how to talk to women, though, John.
they kind of went after Sierra after the vote, and Dan went to go smooth things over with her. And just like he did on the on the podcast in the exit interviews, he was like, you know what, I said some bad things, but you are the problem. Like, basically, like, you need to apologize as well. It's your fault. It's just like he has no idea what to do. And like before that, he's like, I know how to talk to women. Men, we solve problems. Women, you have to be empathetic when you talk to them. And then he's just a joke. He's
As terrible as Dan was and is, it's almost Will Sims the third was almost even worse. Like he was like, I mean, Dan was consistently a douche, but like when Will was a douche, it was like to an even higher level than Dan.
yeah. Well, it was just like it was one thing. Like
Yeah.
I would say I don't hate Will. I really don't like Will, but I feel like Dan just sucks his entire life. I feel like Will just has moments where he sucks. So
You know what? I'd like to go on the record taking back every negative thing I just said about Dan Foley. And I say this because on August 1st, I'll be going to a charity event that Dan Foley will be at. So I don't want him to eat me or kill me.
Reagan Warrior, I just suck T-shirt.
That's actually a
Have
really
him,
good
have him
idea.
sign it. Actually, I probably think he's funny. He should like just say Dan sucks or something.
Yeah, I will mention that he was drafted second overall in the most frustrating players in history podcast. I will mention that.
All right, appreciate that. So, who are you gonna take with your next pick?
With my second round selection, I'm going to take someone that you took in the last draft because you're a complete moron, Don Meehan.
Oh, you know how I love Dawn. This hurts a little bit.
I mean, she was just so pointless her first time playing. She did nothing. She just accepted her fate, sat back, and she knew Cochran was going to flip and screw her over, and she just sat back and did nothing. She didn't deserve to play again, John. She didn't. Now, did it work out that she did? Yeah, it did. Maybe they were right. She was great casting the second time, but it bothers me that she didn't deserve to be cast again because she was such a complete non-factor who didn't play the game her first time. She didn't deserve to play the game. Like, the second time she played, could she be any more annoying? Crying every second, flipping out. Like, she was like the most ruthless human being of all time, and she acted like she was the one being like brutalized. No, you were the one being the bitch. Like, if you can't handle, like, if you can't handle it, you can't dish it. Like, I don't know. I just can't stand Dawn and the whole teeth thing. We talked about this last podcast, so I don't want to get too involved with it. But I just don't understand liking Dawn. Yeah, she made for some good TV her second time, but she was frustrating and she was a piece of crap.
I don't like Dawn. I just find her hilarious because she's so over the top and so emotional, and like I just find those people hilarious. Like I obviously am not gonna ever be friends with her. I mean, she does seem like fairly nice in her life. Maybe the game just got to her, but she was great. I'm sorry. I don't think I can hate on Dawn too much.
Right? It's kind of like the Lisa thing. It was just the same thing with her every week, and it was similar type stuff than Lisa, honestly.
At least Dawn actually like played the game though. Lisa was like,
Well, you're right. She did play the game her second time, but she couldn't handle playing the game. And her first time, she didn't play the game at all. And I'm not going to just like sweep her first time under the rug because this is that's part of Dawn's Survivor career. Her first time, it was brutal.
It would have been great if this was like Dawn's strategy. That'd be like the greatest gameplay ever. If Dawn's strategy was like every day was have like a mental breakdown, and like that, like in confessional, she was telling us the entire time like, haha, I got these guys and stuff like that. I don't know if it would work.
That's interesting, John. How would that have worked? How would that help her in the game?
It would have made her. I don't even know. It would have been.
Yeah, good luck getting the vote at the end.
I would have understood it. Like she could have got to the end and made like 85,000 or whatever third place gets. Maybe 100,000 if a couple people vote for her. But maybe if like her strategy was like, yeah, I don't know if I can win, but I'm gonna be super emotional, be the GOAT, and get brought to the end. But that's not how she played. But it would have been cool to see her at least like try something.
Well, we're on complete opposite ends of the spectrum on Dawn, but maybe we will agree on your second round pick. What do you got?
With my second pick, I'm going to take one of the most famous Survivor players of all time, played 3 times, and he is the greatest of all time. Russell Hantz.
Oh, come on.
He is the most frustrating player ever. Like, he does all these just amazing strategic moves. Like, he can get like anyone to flip, but his arrogance is just so terrible. It's the worst. What do you think about Russell?
I can't give you my answer yet. Hold on. I gotta leave the room for a second. I need to help my roommate with something real quick.
Are you joking right now?
I'm not joking. I'm not having to either. Hold on. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Alright.
Alright, are you gonna edit it where...
Well, you ended with asking me what I thought about Russell.
Yeah, so that's where we're gonna start.
Yeah, I'm gonna start in 2 seconds. Alright, here's my stance on Russell. I understand your frustrations and like, you know, the game is flawed and all that. Like, you know, no, his logic was flawed. I understand his strategy and his gameplay. He can't win like that. But I mean, you can't deny that he was compelling TV. He was one of the best strategists of all time. He made every season he was on way better than it would have been. I mean, he was a tour de force, and it was something like we had never seen at that point in Survivor history.
Yeah, but his gameplay was just so frustrating. Like, the entire time, you're just like, why do you have to be, like, such a dick? And, like, here's the best way I can describe Russell Hantz. He's that guy you play against on Madden that not only beats you, but he celebrates going into the end zone, runs up the score, and then sends you a message telling you how much you suck at life. And if you're playing Dan, he probably tells you your mother's a whore.
Is this coming from like a place of hurt? Do you get killed in video games repeatedly,
I
John?
mean, I've received a few hate messages.
Oh man, that doesn't surprise me at all.
But yeah, he's like, he has to like not only beat you, but he has to rub it in your face. Like, he doesn't understand that it's a social game. That's what frustrates me. And like right before in Heroes versus Villains, it was the final 3, and like his arrogance was just like, he's like, yeah, Sandra, you're not going to get any votes, and Parvati, you're not going to get any votes because I'm just the best. Like there's no reason for it. Like, he's just, and I think that's, you're not going to give someone who like if you play someone like that in Madden or whatever, a video game, you're not going to focus on how good they are at the game. You're just going to be pissed at how much of like a douchebag they are. And you're not going to like give them the $1 million jar and be like, wow, this is a great player, and like totally respect his game. You're going to be like, wow, this guy sucks.
This is the way I look at it. Are you glad that he played the game? Like, are you glad that he was cast on the show?
Yes.
Then you can't draft him here. I don't know.
He frustrates me though. Like, I don't know. I guess we have a little different definition of the draft.
I mean, I understand your frustration with him, but like, does my frustration with like the fact that he can't win outweigh all the greatness that he had on the show and how much I enjoyed watching him? No, it doesn't.
Like, Dan Foley, I'm glad he's on the show. Like, he frustrated me, but I'm like glad he was on the show because he was hilarious.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah, I mean, you make some valid points, and I'm sure a lot of people do agree with you. I just was such a big Russell fan that I could never draft him in this. I like how we each took one person that the other person took in the favorite players draft.
Favorite characters, yeah. All right. Why don't you go ahead with your next pick?
With my third round selection, I'm going to take Matthew Elrod from Survivor Redemption Island.
Oh, I have him on my list too. I didn't know if you'd think about him, but yeah, he is.
Did you know he is very religious, John?
Yeah, if this was a number one I Love Jesus draft, if this was an I Love Jesus draft, I would take him first, no doubt.
I mean, we're not going to get into religious discussions. And, if you want to be on Survivor and have religion be a factor in your game, that's fine and dandy. I have no problem with that. But that was part of every single confessional and every single scene that he was in. Now, maybe that's not just a testament to him, but maybe that's the editing's fault or whatever. They're the ones who chose to show that. But I don't think he gave them anything else to show.
Yeah, and not only was he talking about Jesus the entire time, he was terrible. I want to say maybe not terrible, but he just got played by Boston Rob twice for just being so naive, and he kind of ruined the season because if it flips against Boston Rob, that makes for a great season. But
you know what? You're stealing my thunder here, John. You're saying all the stuff I want to say. I'm the one who took him. You shut your mouth.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I rooted for Matt to get back into the game when he was in Redemption. It was kind of hard not to root for him. It was kind of cool to see him dominate. This was the first time Redemption Island was on the show, and he just kept dominating, and it was kind of cool to see him try to get back in the game, and I was glad when he did get back in the game. But he ruined it. Him and Andrea had this great plan to get Rob out, and then instead of going through with the plan, he decided to tell Rob his plan and say, don't worry, I'm not going to do it. I thought about it, but I'm not doing it. I mean, could you be any worse of a player? Are you kidding?
Shout out to Andrea, Big Brother cameo.
Oh, I love Andrea. Let's not get started on Andrea, though. I love me some Andrea.
She's all right. She's super paranoid all the time. But anyway, back with Matt. Yeah, he just the entire time the episode started, probably 7 episodes in a row was about Jesus, and I don't need to hear about Jesus on Survivor, at least all the time. I don't mind if they're having prayer circles or stuff like that, but Jesus probably isn't putting a ton of effort into who wins Survivor.
Yes, as Rob Cesternino famously said. He said, what did he say in season 6? I don't think God had a rooting interest in Survivor, but if he did, he'd probably side with the guys.
Yeah, because he was a man. But yeah, all right. I will go ahead with my next pick. Let's see. I'm just going to decide real quick. I don't think I've taken a girl yet. I was going to take Lisa, but I hardly have any girls.
I want to go to the wrong guy. The only reason why I took Matt Elrod next is that I want to be a dick and pick 3 females in a row.
Alright, well I have 2 girls I'll take. Actually, I have 3 girls I could take.
Oh, you better not take someone I like. I got a bad feeling you got it.
Yeah, I kind of want Candace. You'll probably take... give me...
I'm not going to take Candace.
Okay, thank you. I want to pick... I know you won't pick this girl, so I'm going to take her. Alright. I will stop talking for 10 seconds and go, so...
Okay.
With my next pick, I'm taking someone that you had on your team last week. We argued about her then, and we can argue about her some more. I'm going to take Stephanie LaGrossa.
All right, before I completely flip on you, why don't you give me your reasoning?
All she does is complain. I feel like we have a lot of complainers on this list. It's kind of the females. Maybe we're kind of mean, but all she does is complain. I know she had something to complain about the first season, but the second season, all she did was complain. She talked about how much she loves this game and how much everyone else sucks and how much everyone on her team always sucks. And she's really good at throwing other people under the bus, but she's not really one to take responsibility for her team sucking or anything. Like she'll gladly take all the credit, but if it fails, like man, someone else did something wrong.
I mean, as we discussed in our first podcast, I understand people who were a little annoyed with Stephanie her second time around. However, I'm going to reiterate, like, her tribe sucking, it wasn't on her. I don't think she needs to take any responsibility for it because she was a very good challenge competitor. She was good around camp. It's not, it wasn't her fault, okay?
Right.
And you know what? Again, she played consecutive times, back to back. She had, like, no rest in between. Like, cut her a break if she's a little annoyed that she has nothing to eat or if she's got, like, just come on. If you played Survivor back to back, you would be complaining too.
Eli,
Give the girl a break.
I really love this podcast, but there's a pizza upstairs, so I think I'm gonna have to cut this podcast short and go eat some pizza. Is that all right with you? Like I might get cut from the podcast, but I think it's worth it because I haven't eaten for like 2 hours and I want pizza.
I just we're never gonna agree on this, but I just think she deserves a little bit of slack. She wasn't like completely insufferable her second time like
The
Lisa
thing was right after the feast too. It's not like or like a day after the feast or like the same day or something. Like she just eaten and she steps down on in her first individual immunity challenge with this tribe. She's definitely on the outs and she steps down for pizza. And we're supposed to love her. I don't actually hate her as much if like she was not really that loved, but the way that she was loved just really like frustrates me. And like
So what, you don't think it's understandable why she was loved her first time? Like you don't even see that?
know, like whatever, like cool, you made it. Your tribe was so terrible, and I'm supposed to feel bad for you. I don't get that.
Well, you should because she was so great and like it's like nothing she could do. Like she just had to like all she could do was be her beast self and like
She was up against like Ibrahim and Bobby John. No one was good at the game. She was like out strategic.
I
Whatever.
never said she was some great strategic player because I don't think she was a great strategic player, but she was just someone who I really rooted for her first time, and I understood her plight the second time. Like it was just like you know what it's like when like nothing's going your way and it just gets frustrating. Like that was her for not two consecutive times. A lot of things went her way the second time, but like I could just totally understand why she was frustrated and wasn't the most pleasant human being her second time around.
Yeah, I would understand if she's frustrated, but then I wouldn't go eat pizza. Just saying. I'm sorry.
You're gonna hate this girl over pizza? Come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It doesn't help the fact that she married one of like the worst baseball pitchers in memory.
Oh yeah, Kyle. Yeah, for a quick second, I was thinking, what are you talking about? Cole Hamels is terrific, but that's Heidi's husband. Yes, Kyle Kendrick is flat out terrible.
Yeah. All right.
He really might be the worst pitcher in baseball.
Do you have anything else to add with Stephanie?
No, I mean we've kind of covered my stance against your stance, and I guess we'll let the listeners decide the winner on this one.
All right. Why don't you go with your next pick?
With my fourth round selection, I'm going to take someone a little off the radar and someone people really like, and I'll never quite understand it. Gabriel Cade from Survivor Marquesas.
Oh, okay. I had to think about it for a second, but yeah, I know who that is now.
Yeah, I figured that you might need a refresher because it was a long time ago, but he was like kind of a beloved character. Like he went to Marquesas to play Utopia, not play Survivor. It drives me crazy.
He didn't. He's like, I'm not even going to play this game. I'm just going to see if we can set up a society and survive. Yeah, he was just frustrating.
I hate, as you'll see later in my draft, I hate people who go to Survivor and don't play Survivor. It's the most frustrating thing of all time.
Kind of sounds like we're going to encounter that again with Kelly Wigglesworth this season.
Yeah, well, I won't be drafting her, but yes, I could see that happening. She doesn't believe in alliances anymore, John. Yeah, she's going to play Survivor without an alliance. Ooh, it's going to be revelatory.
I think she can do it. I really do. I feel like
Are you going on the record as her being your winner pick?
I think she's really good strategically. She's not going to backstab anyone. She's terrible. I don't like her. I'm not a big fan of her on the first season either.
Well, we should probably go back to Gabriel, but he just didn't get it, and like people like tried to like get him to get it, and they tried to make it easy for him, and he just wouldn't give in. Like he wouldn't take part in it, and it's too bad because he could have been a great player. Like he was good in the challenges, he was great around camp, he was pretty sociable. I mean, he could have been a force, and he didn't get he screwed himself over by being a knucklehead.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have too much to say about him, but from what I do remember, he was pretty terrible.
I don't know why he didn't try out for Utopia a couple years ago when that was on, because he would have
I
been.
haven't seen that yet. I've
He would
told
have been. Oh, that show was just so great. It was so great. He would have been. He would have been the leader over there. He would have. That show. Maybe that show would still be going on if Gabriel was part of it.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. All right. With my next pick, this is someone who could have gone in last week's. Let me just restart that real quick. With my next pick, this is someone who could have gone in last week's characters draft, but he's more someone who frustrates me. He's played 3 times. Not really sure how, but I'm going to take Jonathan Pinner.
Oh my god! It's funny that you mentioned Panda because when we finished last week's podcast, I kicked myself in the face because I'm like, oh my god! I mean, how did I not at least mention Penner as a honorable mention? I probably should have took him to begin with. I love Penner. I love Penner. Oh my god!
I like Pinner as the character, but his gameplay is just it's really not good at all. And he's someone that I feel should be good at this game, especially with 3 shots. But he's just always giving off that like schemy, like untrustworthy like feeling. And another thing that really frustrated me was his 3rd time. He should know by now. At the beginning of Philippines, he was the guy looking frantically for the idol the entire time, while the rest of his tribe is plotting against him. And it's just like that's one of my biggest Survivor pet peeves is those people who think if they find the idol, they're just gonna win the game. Like everything's gonna go right for them. Like I hate those people that are just constantly looking for the idol. Like kind of what is that word? I need to edit this part out. When you like distance yourself from the tribe.
Ostracize?
Yeah, ostracize. Alright. Alright. I hate those players that ostracize their tribe by going and looking for the idol. And he was one of those people on his 3rd time playing. He should know better than that. And another thing he did that season, when approached at Final 7 with a Final 4 deal, he declined it, basically he declined it, basically ending his game. And I think he could have won. I'm not saying I guarantee it, but the 4 people he would have been left with is Lisa, Michael, Scoopin, and who's the 4th one? Carter. Yeah, no one's gonna vote. We saw that no one was gonna vote for Michael.
Well, Carter might have won, but yeah, I agree. It's like Survivor 101. You approach with a deal. You just say yes whether you intend to do it or not.
You can think about it later and just say yes.
It really is crazy how that went down. Because like he was approached first, he said no. They're like, okay, well then we'll go to the other group. Like it's just.
He's like, yeah, let's just focus on getting. Was it Abby and was Pete left at that point or no? I can't even remember. But
I don't remember.
Abby that was left.
I agree that his gameplay was incredibly frustrating his 3rd time, and man, you can really pick apart a lot of the things he did that time. I think he deserves a little bit of a pass the 1st time. I know his 1st time was like out of control, like when he mutinied, but in his defense, his main ally mutinied first, which put the tribe he was currently on at that exact moment at a huge numbers disadvantage. So he felt he had to make a split-second decision, and he felt like his best move was to go with his ally and be with the tribe with the bigger numbers. And I can't really fault him for that. And then when he flipped again with the Yule, he really had no choice. Yule's like, if you don't flip with me, you're gone. And he knew Yule had the idol, so he was kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't at that
Would
point.
have been like, hey guys, Yule just showed me the idol. He has it.
Yeah, he didn't. He like tried to intimate to the rest of his tribe that Yule had the idol, but he didn't flat out tell them he had it. I don't know. I don't know if he really had the choice, to be honest.
Exactly. Like it's frustrating. Like what is he thinking? Like it's just that type of thing. And the 2nd time, this is something that kind of baffled me. He got medevaced in episode 4, was it? He was against the numbers, like he lost out on the Suri battle, like the battle to get Suri's vote. And then when he leaves the game, he's like, Yeah, I was in such a good spot, and I was just like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're against the numbers. Everyone thinks you're schemy. No one likes you. It's just, I don't get him."
I just feel so bad for him because he's so fun to watch on TV, and he's such a good character, and he's got the greatest voice of all time, and he
Yeah.
gives great confessionals. He's just so entertaining, and it just sucks that like things kept going wrong for him, and a lot of that was his own doing and his mistakes. But and I can see why you think he's frustrating. I just love him so much that I
Yeah.
wouldn't be
I
drafting
feel like he could play like 100 times and never win. He like loses
I
the
think at
game.
this point you're right. I think he's like even though he probably doesn't deserve it, he's like the most untrustworthy player in the history of the game.
Yeah, like
Uh,
he just yeah. He frustrates me a lot, even though I love him.
yeah, right. Let's see.
Here, let me go pee. You can think about it.
I'm debating between two people. I'm gonna get some water. So hold on.
You ready?
1 second. Debating between two people. One of them I don't think you're gonna take, so I guess I'll go with the one that I think maybe you take. I don't know. All right. In the 5th round, my pick will be Jessica Flicka Smith from the Cook Islands.
Oh my gosh, another Cook Islands player, but back to back.
I mean, let's begin with the world's worst nickname, Flicka. Now, I know she was called that because of her roller derby name or whatever, but it's still really annoying when people call her Flicka. Like, oh, that just makes me want to puke. Like, again, a player who didn't come to play the game, and, she was probably a recruit. I hate recruits. Like, if you don't know how to play the game, you don't belong on the show. If you've never seen the show, you don't belong on the show. It drives me crazy. Like, poor Penner had to explain to her he had to be like her assistant and like explain to her how the game was played, what to do, how the game worked. She didn't seem to understand or care. She just wanted to hang out with friends. That's all she wanted to do.
Yeah, she reminds me of Courtney Merritt from the season before. I just don't know what they're going for with those two people. I feel like they could easily be sisters.
Well, I think Courtney Merritt was actually great casting.
I don't know. She was.
But Jessica, I mean, just flat out terrible. Brought nothing to the table. Remember when like 2 minutes after they win the chicken, she accidentally let them out.
She flickered the chicken box over.
I also think she's probably like a vegetarian and did that on purpose.
Yeah, probably. Like, wait, who's the survivor?
Katzenberg?
Yeah, duh.
Well, the Kimmy Katzenberg.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say about Jessica. I just think she was bad casting. She didn't know how to play the game. Brought nothing to the table. Like, there were like no good moments from her. Like, just please get me off the screen. She lasted too long. She wasn't there forever, but she just was there way too long for my liking.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to say about her, honestly. She just sucks in general. There wasn't anything that even stood out with her besides her just, I don't really want to play this game. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was kind of annoying the entire season that she was on. Okay, you want me to pick?
Yep.
Okay. What pick am I up to?
Number 5.
It's only my 5th pick? Alright. I took Stephanie last time.
No, you took Banner last time.
Penner last time. Still have quite a few people. I'll take someone maybe a little off the radar. Alright. I'll be quiet and I'll go. I want to take someone. I don't need to redo that. With my next pick, I want to take someone a little off the radar. He played in one of the beginning seasons. He's kind of remembered for one big move, but I feel it was more of a flurry of moves that did him in. I'm going to take Ian from Survivor Plow.
All right. I mean, everyone loved Ian, but are you just gonna be mad at him for the last couple moves he made?
That's the thing that frustrates me is that he was in such a good spot to win this game. Like at like final 6, final 7, around that area, like around that time, he was like the only person that could win that game other than Tom. And Tom was like the most obvious target ever. Like Tom is like the prototype, like survivor target, never makes it to the end, never wins. And he basically just kind of let Tom win. Like Tom did a lot of stuff that like kind of forced those moves, but I feel like Ian really lost the game, and it was really hard to watch. Like it was sad. Like he like lost his, like he was such a happy person by the end of the season. He was just like mentally broken down, and it was just.
The thing that drives me crazy about Ian is that, I mean, I think he made the worst move in Survivor history. I mean, he's in the final 3 challenge. They're on the longest challenge ever at 11 hours, and he's like, you know what? I care more about your friendship. I'm gonna step down. Don't take me. Take Katie to the finals. So not only at the very least he cost himself 2nd place, which is what 100,000 or whatever. So he cost himself 100,000 there. And he did it because he wanted to make sure they all remained friends. That's insane. They all would remain friends anyway. I guarantee it. I've never been more sure about anything in my life. If he had not stepped down and finished 1st or 2nd, they all would have been friends after anyway.
Yeah, it's just, and like when at Final 4, when he goes to Tom and was like, yeah, man, I'm really glad that you won immunity because it would have been really tough. I might have had to vote you out. Like he did get voted out then, like almost. It was like the 1-1 split and they had to go to the fire challenge, but he's like, yeah, Tom, I might have voted you out because it would have been a really tough decision. Just what are you doing? Like, and then before that Final 5, they showed him talking. Tom and Ian were like, yeah, we have to take a girl if we win this reward challenge because we can't let all 3 girls sit here scheming together. Ian wins the reward challenge, takes Tom. Tom's just like, Jesus Christ, you are an idiot. But yeah, it's just
You're flipping me. You're actually convincing me here because I loved him, but like my God, he was like such a complete Survivor player, and then all of a sudden it just collapsed on him. Like it's amazing. He was dominating in a lot of ways, and
yeah, like who else was gonna win that game besides Tom? Like no one. Like is Karen gonna win the game? Like no, like. That was just brutal. Like Katie, like he would have destroyed Katie. I feel like everyone hated Katie. At the end, everyone hated Ian, kind of, but I still feel like they couldn't have given it to Katie. She didn't really. I loved her, but she didn't really do much to the game. She was kind of like Courtney Yates, just kind of funny in there, but not much to the game. But yeah, he just like kind of just threw away the game. Tom gets remembered as a really good Survivor player, and I think he is, but I think he also gets pretty lucky that Ian just melts down the last like. I don't know, Final 5 on.
yeah, that's a good point. It's true. It's kind of a shame, even though he's frustrating. It's kind of a shame he didn't play again because it's probably because he just couldn't mentally handle it. I'm sure they wanted him to play, but
Yeah,
It would be nice to see him one day, but I don't know at this point if that's gonna happen.
it's alright. He's got his dolphin friends back home, so he's all good.
Swimming with the dolphins.
Alright, who are you going to take next, Eli?
Well, you know me, I'm gonna pick another girl. Right now, well, I'm at 3-2 girls, but it's gonna be
I
5.
don't know. I think I have 2 girls or just 1, I think maybe.
You have 1 girl, 4 guys. I have 3 girls, 2 guys, but it's about to be 5 girls, 2 guys because my next pick's about to be female.
Alright, let me do some deleting real
In fact, my next 3 picks might be female.
Jesus. Don't take Candace. Let me have Candace.
I'm not taking Kansas.
Okay. Let me do some deleting so I can. Alright. Matt. The greatest of all time. Okay. Okay, let me see how many I have left. So I have 5. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I have 4 people left, but
I have 7 people left.
I have 4, but I know I have a bunch of other people. Yeah, this is gonna be way more females on this tribe. All right,
Whose pick was it?
it's my turn now.
Okay.
With my 6th round selection, I'm gonna take Kat Ederson from Survivor One World and Blood versus Water.
How dare you? Cat's the best. Cat's hilarious.
Another player who kind of didn't understand how to play her first time, and she thought she learned her entering her 2nd time, but no, she still didn't know how to play. She was just a young, naive girl, probably a recruit, which I hate. All she did was complain about not going on the board. Like Troyzan tried to help her and like save her in the game, but she wouldn't bite. Before it was too late before she realized that Troyzan was right. Her 2nd time playing, she called out Monica Culpepper in her confessionals for trying too hard, and then she does the same thing by campaigning to try to get rid of Monica. Nice job, Kat. It ended up getting her voted out, and then when she was on Redemption Island, she tried to guilt Hayden into taking her place like a little bitch. She was just really annoying to watch.
Yeah, and she's not even. We don't even have a. I guess we might have a chance. She's not dateable, but I don't know if we could break those rules or not.
I think if you have a podcast about Survivor and you're not a former Survivor player like Rob, then you're not dateable. So I think we have no chance to.
Okay, fair enough.
I wouldn't even date Kat if she asked. That's how much I dislike her.
Yeah, she's kind of crazy.
I just it just bothers me that she didn't learn anything her first time. Like she tried, like I said, Troyzan tried to help her out her first time. Nah, I'm good. She played in the season with one of the most dominating performances of all time by Kim. Did she learn anything from Kim her 2nd time? No.
Yeah, I feel like she was cast as the person who's just going to be stupid. And I don't think she's very smart, and I feel like the casting put her on the show so they could make fun of her. And that's why I kind of feel a little bad for her, because I think she's really naive and young and not really that smart. So I feel like she doesn't deserve too much hate, I guess.
Yeah, I don't hate her. I was really frustrated with her, and I feel like a lot of people love Kat, and I never really understood it. She didn't seem like the most pleasant person, really.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, and it made all the sense in the world for Kim to keep Kat, but everyone wanted Kat out so bad that they had to get rid of her.
And then Kat begging at Tribal to not when she put herself in harm's way by going after Monica, she begged the Tribal crying please, you can trust me, I'm with you guys, I have your back, you know that. No. Nice try, Kat, too late.
With my next pick, I'm going to take the third Cook Islands player. Wouldn't have thought there'd be 3 Cook Islands players taken. But I'm going to take my least favorite or most frustrated. I don't know. Let me redo that one. That was a bad intro. Ugh. With my next pick, I'm going to choose the third Cook Islands player. I find her truly terrible at the game. And even though she's played 3 times, oh my god, that was pretty bad too.
Kill yourself.
What did you say?
I said kill yourself.
Sorry, editing boy. With my next pick, I want to take the third player from Cook Islands. I want to take Candace Woodcock, or Candace Cody, however you want to say it. I find her just brutal to watch on the show. Just bad decision after bad decision, and she seems to never learn. What do you think about Candace?
I actually want you to go more into detail about Candace because I'm conflicted on Candace. Sometimes I like her, sometimes I hate her. I think you're probably being too hard on her, but I want to hear your reasoning more here.
Her first time out was just terrible decision. She liked Adam. She had a crush on Adam. So even though she was in a good spot, she had 2 people that were going to go before her. So she was probably going to make the merge, become dateable, and Adam and her could have had a thing anyway. But she's like, nope, I want to risk it. I want to go over, going to mutiny over to Adam just so I can hang out with him.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best decision, but again, I can kind of understand it.
There's no way she gets any of those jury votes now.
She went, yeah, I mean, at the time she was like, oh, my allies over on this side aren't great. I could go back to the other side where my friends are and like my boyfriend is.
And Adam's like the biggest douchebag ever. Why would you want to go hang out with Adam? He was the worst. Just nothing makes sense.
Hey, don't you dare criticize Candace's choice of men because she struck gold with John Cody, okay?
John Cody, whatever. And then Heroes versus Villains is just as frustrating. So she makes the merge, she becomes even more dateable, and she decides to follow that up with flipping over to the villains. Russell talked to her for
her defense, she should have been a villain to begin with.
Russell talked to her for 10 minutes or so. It looked like whatever, and then he's like, yeah, you should come over to the villain side, just, cause, yeah. And
how can you say no to Russell Hantz, John?
I don't know, she's not going to be Parvati over there. She's not going to be Sandra. She's not going to be, I don't think she beats Russell. Maybe she beats Russell. She's not going to beat Jerry. Is there someone Courtney. She might be Courtney, whatever. There's way more threats over there. If she stays with, Rupert and Colby and all just those idiots, bring Sandra over, because Sandra wanted to flip over to the hero side, but for some reason she decided she has to go screw people to go to the other side, even though they're not going to trust her. Those people that flip for no reason have... you can flip if you're at the bottom, flip to the numbers, and that makes sense, but, people that flip for no reason, they don't win the game. Flippers can win, you just have to flip the right way. But she flips the wrong way all the time. I'm not going to give her too much crap for her Blood versus Water. Because,
yeah, you can't, because she was a last-second replacement in that game, replacing RC and her father. And, so when they had that vote out in episode 1, they naturally voted out Candace because she just gotten there, so...
Yeah, but also you could say that she kind of burned herself with a reputation of being untrustworthy.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, she just had this. She's just frustrating me. She was in good spots in both games and just made really stupid decisions for no reason. If she goes to the end with the heroes, Rupert and Colby did nothing that game. Did you know that Rupert had a broken toe that season? I had no idea.
I did hear that.
Yeah, it was just Amanda is the worst person at jury ever. so she could have possibly beaten her. Like, was Amanda gone at that point? No, JT was gone. Amanda was still there. But yeah, it was just brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it's also I think we might have talked about this before, maybe the first podcast. It's kind of inexplicable she even got cast on Heroes vs. Villains, to be honest. I honestly think that if the thing with Billy Garcia did not happen, she would not have gotten cast on Heroes vs. Villains.
I think you're right, because she didn't. Maybe the mutant. Like, the mutiny made her a hero somehow. Yeah, it was just weird. Like, the whole Heroes vs. Villains thing. Great season, but some couple weird, like, casting choices and putting.
Yeah, I mean,
like, Sandra could have easily been a hero, like, taking out Fair Play, like.
I think they did a pretty good job of casting. There's always going to be some questionable.
Colby Donaldson.
Yeah, Colby Donaldson provided some of the greatest moments in TV history that season.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was so great. Oh man, when he was in bed with Amanda and Danielle DiLorenzo, and they were like fighting, and he was just like watching and eating popcorn and not intervening.
That was.
That makes me laugh every time. All right. So that's what, 60 so far?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Jeez, 4 more? My God. I'm thinking I'm going to end up with 7 chicks and 3 guys.
Jesus Christ.
Hashtag sexism. I'm gonna take one that's really off the radar.
Okay.
I don't entirely remember why I despised her, but oh my God, did I hate this bitch at the time.
Is this like an Ibrahim hate?
No. You're not taking Ibrahim, are you? Because he's probably gonna be my last pick.
Don't tell me that. I don't hate Ibrahim, so.
You're not taking Ibrahim. Alright. With my 7th pick, I'm going to take Karen Grodel from Survivor Palau. I'm not even sure you remember who she was.
Karen was great.
No, she was the worst. I think at the time, I hated her more than anyone ever. And I probably do hate her the most. But she wasn't my first pick because, people probably don't even remember her. But she was incredibly annoying. Just looking at her face made me angry. I know that's a mean thing to say, but I don't care. There was such an epic plan to overthrow Tom. And she just squeals like a complete pig to Tom for no reason. She just goes to Tom's like, "Hey, this is a plan to get you out, but I don't know. I hate when people ruin the game. Like, she didn't deserve to be there, and but she is there, and she could have been a part of some great plan to overthrow the king. And she just squeals to him. What are you doing? And what good did that do her? She was the funny thing is she was the only member from Koror, only female member from Koror to be voted out. Wanda was never officially a member and was kicked out of the game on day 1. Janu quit, Jen lost in fire making, and Katie made Final Tribal. That's how bad Karen was. She was the only female voted out, and she did it to herself. I hate her.
I don't hate Karen as much as you do. I kind of love Karen because of how Katie treated Karen. Like, it kind of made for some good moments.
Can you blame her?
Yeah, I liked Katie. Katie Gallagher, I think it was.
No, I mean, can you blame Katie for treating Karen like crap?
I know, but like Karen being there kind of created some good Katie moments, so I can't hate on Karen too much. I understand the pick. I feel like you're definitely against the females here. Like all the like.
Oh, come on! I was hoping you wouldn't point that out, John.
She's gonna be mad. She's like, Eli's taking all the moms. Is he not like me? Like, I don't know if your mom will approve of this podcast.
Well, that's irrelevant because I think my mom will approve because Karen was so goddamn terrible. And you know what? I didn't even mention the grossest thing about Karen. She apparently used Stephanie's old oolong buff as a bikini bottom. I read that on Survivor Wiki. Is that not the most grossest thing of all time? Could you imagine how disgusting Steph's oolong buff must have been? As a bikini bottom? Are you crazy? I'm surprised she didn't get malaria from that thing. Unbelievable.
Malaria? Was this filmed in Africa, Eli?
I don't know. She had to get there had to have been some crazy exotic disease on that buff.
I think your hate might be a little too strong. I understand a little bit, but give Karen a break. She's a mom.
She was such a terrible player, and she was so annoying. Like it was just, and she didn't play the game. It was just a combination of like she was the worst. She brought nothing to the table.
You didn't even get my Baylor Wilson reference. That was great.
What was it?
She's a mom.
Oh, that's not that great of a reference, John. No one got that. There's not one person listening who was like, "Oh, Baylor Wilson."
Shout out to Baylor Wilson. Shout
Now,
out.
if you had said sticky situation, everyone would know you're talking about Baylor Wilson.
Yeah, but
Or we'll just show up.
that season was great.
Not really. But all right, why don't you take us away with your 7th round pick?
With my next pick, he was kind of spoiled in the last segment. It's Colby Donaldson.
Poor Colby.
Yeah,
He just can't catch a break, that one.
you're acting to Candace's segment. Now he has his own, but Colby just frustrated me from the very first season. Like, I didn't watch this when it was live, obviously, but when I was watching it, I was like, everyone loves Colby. All right, this is gonna be good. He's gonna be a great character. Brings his Texas flag and everything Texas and Southern, and maybe I'm a little harsh on the Southern people on the show, but I just don't feel like they bring much to the table. Like they're Southern and that's it. Like I feel like Colby said the most cliches out of any Survivor player of all time, and like he's this like revered person, and I really don't see why.
He was pretty dynamic at first time. Like he was like the first challenge beast, and
But I'm stopping you right there. Dynamic. That's how you're gonna describe him?
yes, I mean he was the first challenge beast. He was liked by everyone. The girls loved him. Like I mean he had charisma. Like I understand why he was somewhat of a big deal at the time.
I do have to admit, Jerry gave me $10 to put Colby on the list, so
Oh my god, that wouldn't surprise me.
but yeah, that Colby and Jerry thing was great. I was on Team Jerry all the way. Like Colby was just kind of. I wish Colby.
Yeah, this comes from your love of Jerry. You just love Jerry so much that anyone against her, you know what? I'm against this person too.
I do love Jerry, but the way he treated Jerry was pretty crappy. Instead of like kind of keeping her close, be like, yeah, this is part of my gameplay. He just like treated her like crap the entire time. He like could have used her, but really didn't, and like lost her vote. Like she didn't vote for him. He lost the million. And yeah, the fact that he took Tina,
Yeah, that was terrible.
that's super frustrating.
Why don't you get into his other times playing? Because yeah, I'm interested in your take on that.
Was he on Heroes versus Villains? I don't know. I might have forgotten. Was he like a first boot on Heroes Villain?
Are you kidding me?
he
We
was
was talking about that. You talking about All Stars?
He was fit. Oh, I forgot. I didn't even notice him on Heroes versus Villains.
Heroes versus Villains. We were talking about that. Remember he was in bed on a reward with Amanda Kimmel and Danielle DiLorenzo, and in the popcorn there was a clue to the hidden immunity idol. Danielle found it, and Amanda noticed it, and then they fought over it. There was like a girl fight, and like meanwhile Colby's just sitting on bed, and he's like he wants no part of this, and like the girls are
That kind of
complaining.
sounds like Colby's entire Heroes versus Villains.
The girls are
No
complaining.
part of this.
The girls are complaining to him, and they make him like make a ruling. And even though Amanda Kimmel was in his alliance, he's like, Amanda, just give it back.
Yeah, I know. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like you wanted no part of Heroes versus Villains ever. Like every challenge, he was terrible. All he did was just like mope. At Tribal Council, there's shots of like everyone like focused on Jeff, and Colby's just like staring off in like the sunset, and it's Colby just. I don't know why he came back. In All Stars, he really wasn't. Maybe that was my favorite season of him, except when he's like, "Can you call a gay man a stud?" So it's like Colby, just don't, Colby. Like, yes, gay people can do cool stuff, Colby, even though you may have never met a gay person before. But like, Jesus Christ, like, he's just annoying. He's beloved, and he doesn't do anything to be beloved. And like, another thing was kind of like tying in Survivor Australia, but that final five, the most boring final five ever. Elizabeth, Roger, Colby, Tina, Keith.
I couldn't
Not
disagree with you
dream
more. I couldn't disagree. It was like a legendary Final Five. First of all, look, I know everyone hates Elizabeth Hasselbeck now, basically. That's how the world works. But at the time, No, I didn't see this live, but I know like, at the time she was one of the most beloved like TV characters ever. She was one of the most likable characters ever at the time. I mean, I don't care if you hate her now or not. You have to acknowledge she was incredibly likable that time, and her relationship with Roger was really cool and something that we hadn't seen yet. And Tina and Jerry Tina and Colby are pretty compelling one too. Like in the history of the show.
I feel like I could describe everyone but Keith as Nice, and Nice is the most boring Survivor cast member.
But you know what? I see what you're saying. At the time when season 1 like was famous for like everyone hated everyone. Like Richard was a villain. Like people liked the Sue Hawk speech, but they thought she was mean. People didn't like Kelly for some reason, even though there was no reason not to like Kelly really.
There's every reason not to like Kelly.
So like it was like refreshing for people that all these people were likable and that a good guy was going to win.
I think that was like the only part of Survivor where I was like, wow, this is terrible TV. Like the final like three or 4 episodes of Survivor Australia. But
well, you just hate you hate the early seasons. So like you're not a reliable witness here.
I like some of them. I
No,
don't.
you don't. No, you're an ageist.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You only like newer
You caught me.
seasons.
You caught me.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm on to you.
All right, let's get back on track. Enough Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Is that it for Colby? You got nothing else?
No, let's see. I think I covered everything.
I'm about to make my 8th pick, and it's going to be my 7th female.
Oh my god. Who's the only dude you've taken?
Huh?
Who's the only dude you've taken?
No, I'm taking. Hold on. No, I'm taking 2 guys. This is my 6th out of 8. My 3rd and 4th picks were Matt Elrod and Gabriel Cade.
Yeah, 2 really boring guys. That looks similar, probably.
With my 8th round selection, I'm going to take Lydia Morales, the fishmonger from Survivor Guatemala.
Lydia, who? I'm kind of.
Well, I'm interested to see how you feel about Lydia.
I don't really have an opinion. She was just kind of one of those people that was there. She was annoying, but like I could look past that because I was more focused on like Judd that season, Stephanie, Rafe, Danny. I didn't really care about Lydia.
Yeah, here's my thing with Lydia. Yeah, she was definitely annoying. Not the most annoying person ever. Like she was tolerable, so I won't kill her for that. But what does she bring to the table? Like, give me one fun moment involving Lydia in the entire season. She was so wretchedly terrible in the challenges. Maybe the worst challenge competitor of all time. She just brought nothing to the table except she was good at camp. That's it. Like, who cares?
I want to
If
see.
you're on the island, you care, but watching TV, you don't care.
Let's recap your team real quick. How many old women do you have on your team, Eli?
Lisa Welchel, Don Meehan, Karen, and Lydia. Hey, I do have some youngins. I got Kat and Flicka.
Okay. I still see some bias here.
Look, I mean, you could obviously see a common theme here, and it's not just because of females. The common theme is people who like brought nothing to the table, like who just weren't there to play. Maybe they were recruits. They didn't like contribute any fun moments in the show. They were just boring TV. And the thing with these people, most of them lasted a fair amount of time. So it's like you had to see them week after week after week, and nothing fun ever.
I think the common theme is you hate your mom. That's what I'm going with. If there's a common theme there.
You know, that's not true, and it's inflammatory, and it's slander, and I'm not happy with you right now.
I'm just trying to rattle you, get you off your game.
You're not going to get me off my game because I'm making great pick after great pick here.
All right, I don't have anything else to say about Lydia. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, she is basically not worth talking about, which is why she's on my list.
A good point. With my next selection, I'm going to take a female, played 3 times. She's already been mentioned. I'm going to take Amanda Kimmel from Survivor China, Fans vs. Favorites, and Heroes vs. Villains.
Man, you're taking some big names.
Yeah.
See, we're going about this a little differently. You're taking like good players who are a little overrated that frustrate you because they could have been better, and I'm taking players that just annoyed the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with your strategy. Tell me about Amanda.
I just feel like she really blew it in Survivor China. Like, she had a really good chance of winning. Like, she's sitting there Final Four with Courtney, Todd, and Denise. How she doesn't at least force Todd into a fire-making challenge or try to convince Courtney to vote with him as well and get Todd out, I have no idea. How she determines that Denise is the biggest target is beyond me. It baffles me that like the feel bad for me player is always considered a jury threat. Like nobody likes them. Like hardly anyone in the season ever likes them. Like if they don't like him while they're playing with him, why are they going to like him in jury? Like I don't get why people like Denise are seen as threats, while Todd, he's just going to piss everyone off. Like I just felt like her looking like her survivor strategy was flawed there, and I feel like she really could have won that season. Maybe even if at Final Five she went with PG and Denise, I think she might have been able to win with anyone but Todd again. But I really feel like she, like, kind of, I don't know. She definitely blew her chance. Then fans versus favorites, she was like the third best out of the final three. Like I can't fault her really. Any strategic, like she was pretty bad in Final Tribal Council as she was in China, but strategically I don't really feel like she gets the game, and I feel like she's kind of rated highly in Survivor communities, and I just don't really understand it.
I think I'm not sure if Ozzy would agree with you or disagree with you. Where do they stand now? Are they still friends, John?
I don't know. I give zero shits about it.
Yeah, no, I don't care either. It was funny to see them make out, and fans are his favorite, so.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, why would you put it that big a target? Like, Sabri probably should have gone with the other group, in all honesty, but whatever.
I don't know. You don't have me fully convinced on Amanda here. I mean, I think she made some mistakes and is maybe a little overrated, but I don't think she should like piss you off this much.
The one thing I liked about Amanda was the fact that her ass was blurred the entire season of China.
Oh, you're just a creep, John.
And then her sister shows up. Like, no one else's ass is blurred the entire season except Amanda's. And then her sister shows up on the family visit, and her ass has to be blurred too. Hilarious. Like, I was like, of course her ass is blurred, but it was pretty great. I was like the only. It wasn't even Amanda, I guess, that I liked, but it was just funny. I don't hate Amanda. I don't feel like she's even in consideration for being a good player. Like, I don't really know what characteristics she has as a good player. Like, she seems paranoid. She's never happy. I don't feel like she makes enough like social connections on the jury to like get votes, or I don't think she can explain her game strategically enough to get votes that way. I don't feel like she's very good, and I feel like she's considered good. So that's where my frustration comes in.
Fair enough. I understand. All right, I'm gonna take a man. With my 9th round selection, I'm going to prove that I'm not a sexist and take my 3rd man in the draft, Ibrahim from Survivor Palau. A lot of Palau love from me.
Yeah, 3 Cook Islands, 3 Palau members.
I just can't see people are like, why do you hate Ibrahim? Like, who cares about Ibrahim? Well, I just hate the big, strong, buff guys that suck in challenges. I mean, he was terrible in challenges. I hate how people just assume big, buff guys are good at sports. Now, maybe this pisses me off because I'm a skinny guy who is good in sports, and I'm jealous of buff guys, but that's whatever. Ibrahim sucked in challenges. He had no personality. He was on the worst tribe ever, and a lot of it was his fault. And he didn't deserve to make it even as far as he did. And if Bobby John had stuck with Ibrahim instead of Stephanie, I probably would have broken my TV.
I think the guy who you should have taken on that tribe is
Bobby John?
I can't think of his name. Was his name
James Miller?
No, James is awesome. James is the guy. But the guy that stepped on the coconut and sprained his ankle and quit.
Oh, Jeff.
I thought it was Jeff. I wasn't
Jeff
sure.
Wilson, I think maybe it is.
Wilson,
yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, my ankle.
Him and Kim were like the worst Survivor couple in history of mankind.
Yeah, I feel like he should frustrate you more as that big buff guy who doesn't make it. At least Ibrahim made it a ways.
Yeah, at least Ibrahim didn't kind of quit like Jeff did. But Ibrahim drove me crazy. I just think people thought he was good, but he wasn't. And I just don't think he like a lot of the people I've drafted. I just don't think he brought anything to the table. There was no like redeeming quality. There's no like reason that they were cast. Like, why did they cast these people? They're not good in challenges. They're not good personality wise. Like, they're not good game strategy wise. Like, why are these people here?
He was the first Muslim. I think that is why he was cast as the
Yeah,
Muslim.
quite possibly. But they barely showed any of that, and it didn't seem like that was a huge part of who he was necessarily. Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about Eve. I mean, he was a non-entity.
All right, how many picks do I have left? 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I've got it. Let's see. Yeah.
You have like the whole cast of heroes versus villains. Like you literally do.
Russ, and I'm gonna add to that too.
Are you really?
Yeah, I have 2 people left. I guess I could even add 2 people to it. I could add. I'm not.
Well, I'm gonna add one. Add him right now so I can call you out on it.
Okay. I don't know who. Should I do Rupert or Coach?
Do Rupert.
Okay. With my next selection, I want to be taking. Let me just restart that. I'm
Yeah,
terrible.
don't mention you taking another heroes versus villains. I want to call you out.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. With my next pick, I want to be taking arguably the biggest Survivor character of all time, Rupert Boneham.
John, what are you doing? For a season considered the best of all time, you seem to be taking the entire cast of heroes versus villains.
I guess that's true. But
You got Russell, you got Stephanie LaGrossa, you got Candace, Colby, Amanda, Rupert. This is insane.
I guess I love heroes versus villains, but I guess there was some people that frustrated me.
What do you think? Sandra Diaz Twine with your last pick?
Oh, no, I love Sandra.
Well, you gotta. I mean, not that anyone needs explanation on why Rupert is frustrating. Why don't you give it anyway?
All right, the biggest gripe I have about Rupert is that he's so entitled. Like, he feels that everyone should just take him to the end, and ooh, you guys are gonna be like he says in Pearl Islands. Each person's gonna have a spot in my journey to the finals, or something along those lines. He doesn't realize that people can vote him out. He feels like no one's ever gonna vote him out because he's the best, and they're gonna keep him around because he feeds them fish.
But he wears tie-dye and has a really cool beard.
Yeah, he also
Can't vote him out.
he's an asshole. Like, he's a dick a lot of the time. Like, he's not a nice person. As he's like kind of this jolly giant, he's like that cast like that. But yeah, like I remember in All Stars, I think it was. It's hard to remember with all those times playing, where
Well, he only played like 36 times. Come on, give me that.
where he says he's going to play an entirely different game, and then he goes through what he's going to do, and it's exactly what he did last time. He's like, I want to play this new game, but yeah, he plays the same game 4 times or 3 times if you don't want to count Blood versus Water. But
I mean, I get your Rupert pick. His first time, he was amazing, and I loved him. But his second, third, and fourth time, he was completely insufferable. So, the only reason why I didn't pick him was because he was just so amazing his first time that I don't want to criticize someone who was that good TV. But yes, his last 3 times were just excruciating to watch. It was the same thing over and over.
I'm going to go back to a Jerry Manthey reference. And probably my favorite Rupert moment was the shelter building competition, where Rupert decides against Jerry. Everyone else was kind of quiet, but he and Jerry got in a fight about how to build the shelter. And Rupert thought it'd be good to build it on the beach, and then dig down and build a shelter that way instead of just building one in a tree or in the woods or something like that. And of course, this shelter is the worst shelter of all time. There's a tree stump in it. It floods constantly. And Rafa, I think that's what his name was, Rafa, the guy who was judging it, you just tell he hated it. And Rupert's like just trying to sell, and he's like, the stump, it's a good foot stand. You can put your feet up on it. It's just like, oh my gosh, Rupert.
You know what angers me the most about Rupert is the fact that he won $1 million, even though he didn't win the game. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, that's something else I have on here. But yeah, he was voted fan favorite. They basically gave him $1 million. He was voted fan favorite, which paid $1 million in Survivor All Stars. He's not even interesting. Like, I just don't get it. Like, ugh.
Dustin Eno should have won that.
He was not that good in All Stars. Like, he was fine. Like, he's
I
just
know.
there. But I guess we used this joke earlier. But do you know how Rupert had a broken toe in Heroes vs. Villains? Like, it's just like he broke his toe in the first challenge, and every episode, I got a broken toe, damn toe, but it's not gonna stop me from winning the $1 million. It's just like, oh my God, Rupert, you suck. Have to cough doing Rupert's voice. Jeez.
Oh man, I have a lot of people that I'm considering for my last pick. A lot. All right, let me give you a minute to decide who I'm picking, and then before I pick, I'm gonna list off like my 10 honorable mentions.
How about we do that after I pick?
Yeah, I guess we can do that.
Maybe you could do like I'm deciding between so and so and so and so, and then do an honorable mentions.
Yeah, we'll do an honorable mention at the end like last time. I'll only make my pick. Let's go figure out who's good.
Who is it? Maybe.
Well, whoever you're gonna pick is not gonna be who I pick. If that's what you're worried about.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Rafe.
Oh, I'm not picking Rafe.
Yeah, I know you want. I know you're not.
Yeah, I know who I'm picking. There's a lot of good picks possibly here, but I'm just gonna go with it. With my final pick, I'm going to take a two-time player, Russell Swan from Survivor Samoa and Philippines.
That is a really good pick. I don't know why I hadn't considered him, but
he just thought he was terrible. He thought he was like God's gift. He was a tyrant dictator who wouldn't have won his first time. Yeah, I felt bad that he was a leader of a pretty decent tribe when he got medevaced, and that was a bummer. But there's no chance he was going to win. No way. He was an insufferable, flat-out jerk. His second time, he was the worst. Like, all he did was complain and complain, and like he had like freakouts where like he would like spaz, and people were like worried about him. Like, I can't stand him. I just think he was an unpleasant person who like thought he deserved better, and he did.
Yeah, I have no idea how he got cast twice, because then when he came back the second time, he's like, I want to play a totally different game, not going to be the leader. And like an hour later, like everyone's like, yeah, he's playing exactly the same, and he's.
Oh yeah, you're completely correct. But I do disagree with one thing you said. He did deserve to play a second time.
Why? What is interesting about him? Like,
look, I mean, like I said, like I felt bad for him. He had medevaced in a brutal way, and he was the leader of the tribe. Now, like I said, he had no chance to win, and he was a shitbag. But he did deserve to play a full game.
Yeah, I feel bad for a lot of people though, and Russell Swan would be like. Not someone I feel that bad for. Like, it's not like someone who was gonna win, or I don't know. I just didn't see anything that makes him good TV, really, besides the fact, like, kind of the unintentional humor that he creates.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta wrap that up. I don't want to edit it. I don't know what else to say. Whatever. Just go.
Well, here, do something. Say something.
Yeah, I feel like I should. I like how we bookended this draft with Russell. You took Russell Hantz, I took Russell Swan. I think my pick was better than yours, but hey, that's just me.
I guess agree to disagree.
Well, we'll let the viewers decide. The listeners decide, I should say. Why don't you take us away with the final pick in the most frustrated players draft?
Should I take Ray for coach?
Well, I think we probably talked a lot about coach last time. because I took him and you probably
Oh,
criticized it. I
Mm,
say you take Rafe if you have some good stuff to say, and then in our honorable mentions, we can briefly mention a couple.
I also got Lex on my list.
We also talked about Lex last time.
Yeah, it's true. We didn't talk about Rafe. Come on. Yeah, that's probably who I'll have to take. With the final pick in the most frustrating Survivor player draft, I want to take Rafe from Survivor Guatemala.
Wow, off the board. That's a name I haven't thought about in a while. Why are you taking Rafe?
I really liked Rafe. I thought he played a really good game. He kind of for the same reasons Ian's on this list is at the end of the game he just was way too nice and he just wasn't cutthroat enough. Even though he was in easily the best position to win this game, multiple people wanted to take him to the end, and for some reason he had to carry Danny along with him instead of just cutting her off. Like props to Danny for making that friendship and bond, but man, Rafe, come on, take Stephanie, take Judd, take all these unlikable people, like take Jamie, like your main call buddy.
I gotta say, John, interesting strategy by beginning your reasoning for taking Rafe in the most frustrated players draft by saying, quote, I really like Rafe.
I know, but like I like him to an extent. Like I feel like he played a good game, but then the frustrating thing is just, I mean, everything I just mentioned. But yeah, I feel like he just would have blew anyone out of the water in the final two, except for Danny. And then of course he brings Danny in. It just frustrated me that he's kind of blew his chance, just like Ian. And
Well, I'll tell you, I'm never in my life going to criticize anyone who had any part in my favorite TV show of all time, Chuck. I don't know if people know, but he wrote for that show, so I'm not going to criticize Rafe. You're on your own on this one.
yeah, but I mean, I don't hate Rafe in any way, but it just his gameplay just really. I mean, like I said, he blew a chance, and let me redo that. Let me close on Rafe better than that. Yeah, I have nothing against Rafe, but he just was frustrating the way he played out the final couple votes. Bring Lydia, bring Stephanie, just don't bring Danny. All right, Eli, is there anyone else you want to mention that you thought about taking? But
Oh, yeah, this is a laundry list of people that I consider taking. I'll quickly go through them. Linda Spencer from Survivor Africa, Joanna Ward from Survivor Amazon, Lillian Morris, Lil from Pearl Islands,
that was awesome.
Rick Nelson from South Pacific,
Rick,
Francesca from Redemption Island and Philippines, or whatever the other season was. Not Philippines, whatever. I don't know.
to Caramon.
Yeah, Scout and Twyla from Vanuatu. Everyone from Thailand, Gandia, Ted, Clay, just basically everyone from Thailand.
Ian.
My biggest snub, I think I almost took over Russell Swan, Chet Welch from Survivor Micronesia.
Chet sucked.
I'd also like to give a quick shout out to Austin from Pearl Islands and Artis from the Philippines.
All right, my list is a little bit shorter. I didn't have as many like honorable mentions as you, but this one I'm surprised you didn't take her. She falls into like your stereotypical I hate this person is Monica Culpepper from.
You know what's weird? I absolutely love Monica Culpepper.
How? She's exactly like Lisa and Dawn and.
I liked her more the first time. Her second time, she definitely bothered me, and it got annoying. But I liked her so much the first time, and liked her for about the first half of the second time, so she wasn't on my radar here.
Ozzy is also someone I really don't like. He's
pretty frustrated.
His arrogance, Lex, Coach.
And Lex and Coach, two guys that took in my favorite players draft.
Two people, or the last one, like he's like kind of exactly like Rafe and Ian. Kenny from Survivor Gabon.
Oh, come on, Gamer Ken. Come on.
Really, like he was one of just like Rafe. Like he was in a great spot to win, and then like instead of flipping with Bob or staying with his tribe or staying with his alliance, he like half flipped and like got stuck in the middle, and everyone voted him out. Like,
You know what the problem with your team is? Like, you picked a bunch of like pretty good players who made like one mistake, and you just hold that against them. See, my players, they're like no redeeming qualities on any of these people. The people who frustrated you week after week after week. It's not just one little thing they did wrong.
yeah, I guess that's kind of what the listeners can help do. Decide which team is better.
Yeah, so why don't we recap the teams real quickly? My team consists of Lisa Welchel, Don Meehan, Matt Elrod, Gabriel Cade, Jessica Flicka-Smith, Kat Ederson, Karen Grodel, Lydia the Fishmonger, Ibrahim, and Russell Swan. John's team consists of Dan Foley, Russell Hance, Stephanie LaGrossa, Jonathan Panner, Ian Rosenberg, Candace Woodcock, Colby Donaldson, Amanda Kilmo, Rupert Bonham, and Rafe Bartholomew.
His last name is Bartholomew?
I could be wrong, but I think it is.
That's cute.
No, that's not Bartholomew. It's Rafe Judkins. Rafe Judkins.
Same thing.
Not really, but that's funny.
All right, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, just tweet us at Survivor Buddies and let us know which team you like better. Criticize us. Let us know if there are other people we should have drafted, and drop us a line on what you want our next draft, one of our next drafts to be. But I think our next draft's going to be our biggest Survivor crushes in history.
Ooh, can't wait for this one.
I'm thinking you're going to take Lydia the Fishmonger number 1. Am I right?
There's definitely potential. I might have to take some of your moms.
As long as you don't take my mom, John, that's all that I care about. And I guess we'll leave it at that. Thanks, guys.
I thought this one went better than the last one.
Probably. I don't know. I thought your joke on Jerry giving you $10 was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I thought my Dan Foley joke was in Russell's thing.
That was good, but I thought the Manthe one really made me crack up.
Come on, Donaldson.